Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And I'm starting to take a look at the playoff series for the opening round. We know four of the eight opening round series. We'll figure out the other four once the play-in tournament is through. Yesterday, I took a look at the Suns versus Timberwolves, six-seeded Suns, third-seeded Timberwolves. Today, we're going to move to the Eastern Conference, and I am going to take a look at the matchup between the fourth seeded Cleveland Cavaliers and the fifth seeded Magic. So we take a look at their records. We're only one game apart. Now, the Cavaliers could have been the third seed if they had beaten the Charlotte Hornets last game of the season. They did not. They even had potential to be the second seed if the Knicks had lost. The Knicks won in overtime. Meanwhile, the Magic faded a bit to end the season, but still easily surpassed expectations from the preseason. They took another step forward. They ended last season going 500 for, I don't know, the last 40, 50 games, and they continue to play even better. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner continue to take a step forward. So 47 and 35, definitely exceeding expectations because their preseason over under was just 37 and a half wins. If we take a look at both teams' starting lineups, the Cavaliers haven't had their starting lineup for much of the season. I mean, almost every one of their guys has been hurt at some point. Darius Garland missed a bunch of time with a broken jaw. Evan Mobley missed a bunch of time. Donovan Mitchell missed time towards the end of the season, as did Max Strus. But one of the better starting lineups in the NBA, you would have to say, when they're at full strength. Although Donovan Mitchell hasn't looked 100% since he's come back. Let's see if the rest he gets waiting for the postseason to begin helps him look more like himself. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, the Magic two-star players, Franz Wagner in his third season and Paolo Banchero in his second season, both took another step forward to become two very good players. I actually remember I did a video in the preseason. Well, yeah, before the season started. Basically, Patrick Beverly was kind of crapping on where ESPN ranked those two guys, said they were way too high, and they definitely proved him wrong. But meanwhile, Jalen Suggs almost was looking like borderline draft bust. Definitely came out this season, became a reliable three-point shooter. And is an excellent defender at the defensive end. As you may have seen, the Magic had the second best defensive rating in the NBA this season, only behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's what really led them to a record 12 games over 500. The offense was middling at best. Paolo Banchero, maybe not the most efficient scorer, but maybe doesn't have the help around him to get better shots. Gary Harris is that low usage guy on the team, but he also provides value at the defensive end. So while I give the advantage to the Cavaliers in starting lineup, bench, I would have to go with the Magic, although Karis LeVert is one of the best bench scorers in the league. He's had numerous starts this season. As I mentioned, many of their key pieces have been out at times, so he's actually, well, he only started 10 games this season. It was more Isaac Okoro that was getting the starts, 42 starts. He's always been a defensive-minded player. Did shoot the three ball pretty well this year, though, nearly 40%. I'm a Knicks fan. I remember the Knicks were leaving him open in the postseason last year in their opening round matchup. Georges Niang, the Cavs knew they needed shooting, so they brought in Strus and Niang. Niang shot about 38% from three this season, so they did get that shooting because Mobley and Allen, while very good defensive front court, they're not going to extend the defense really at all. Mobley did attempt a little bit more than a three per game. And Sam Merrill's definitely a good shooter, but it'll be interesting to see how much playing time Sam Merrill and Dean Wade get. But Cole Anthony, I'll say he did cool down a bit as the season went along, but he's also a guy who can score in bunches off the bench. Meanwhile, Jonathan Isaac, we know his injury history, so he just doesn't get a lot of minutes, but he's one of the best defenders in the league when he's out there on the court. Mo Wagner, the brother of Franz, excellent backup center. Markel Fultz, good backup point guard, and Joe Ingles, man, seems like he's been around forever. He's slowing down a bit. I mean, his game never was predicated on speed, but he still plays a valuable role on a Magic team. So I would have to give the advantage to the Magic's bench. Uh, these two teams are different in that the Magic get to the line a ton. They actually led the league in free throw attempts this past season. Meanwhile, the Cavs do not get to the line all that frequently, but what they do is shoot a lot more threes than the Magic. So the Cavs ranked 8th in three-point attempts per game. Meanwhile, the Magic were second to last, 29th. So, again, let's see who could take advantage of one of their strengths more. Magic were just 26th in the league in free throw percentage, though. So even though they attempted the most free throws, they only made the 6th most. Meanwhile, the Cavs are 15th in three-point percentage compared to the Magic at 24th. So again, the Magic don't really necessarily have the shooters. Jalen Suggs shot nearly 40%, Ingles 43.5, but at just 2.4 attempts per game. Meanwhile, if we take a look at DraftKings Sportsbook, so far out of the 4 series that we know, the Cavaliers are the biggest favorites, and none of them are huge, so they're all expected to be close. I'm shocked that the Bucks. I'll get into that series later, but I shouldn't say I'm shocked because Giannis expected to miss the beginning of the series. We'll see how long he's out. But meanwhile, the Cavaliers are minus 195 to win the series. Magic plus 165. So in the end, I'm gonna go with the Cavs. How many games, man? I'm going to go 6 again. I went 6 yesterday, Suns and 6 over the Timberwolves. As I mentioned in my last video, I went 7-0 in the opening round last year. Not exactly predicting the amount of games, but predicting the winner. Why 7-0 instead of 8-0? Well, I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I'm not going to pick against the Knicks because I am too biased. But I probably will preview the series, whether they play the Heat or the 76ers. But let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Who do you believe will take this series, the Cavs or the Magic? I'm going to say if the Magic do find a way to win, I think JB Bickerstaff might be on the hot seat. They were the higher seed against the Knicks last season and then in the playoffs, and the Knicks really easily eliminated them. So if the Magic are able to do so, as with the Cavs being a higher seed again, definitely would not surprise me to see JB Bickerstaff off the team. But anyhow, I'll probably preview another series tomorrow. Again, you could check out Timberwolves Suns. I did that yesterday. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications.